taking breaks are supposed to boost our productivity, and that's awesome if you can remember to take them and actually do it. It's one of the things I encourage a lot of my coaching clients to do, but not always easy to follow. In fact, this weekend I fell off the wagon completely, and I wanted to share what happened, what I learned, some mindset traps to be aware of, as well as mindset hacks and tools and strategies as to how to integrate breaks back into our schedules. Hi, I'm Jilda from the Nonprofit Path, and I'm a personal development coach that really wants to help my clients have less overwhelm and more balance in their lives. And in fact, I've created a complimentary guide on how to focus on your priorities in the link below if that's something that's helpful. If these types of videos are helpful, please do like and subscribe, and or let me know in the comments if there's a certain topic you want me to cover. So, what actually happened? It was a regular weekend, and I had this huge to-do list. I really wanted to get a lot done and get some kind of dent in it. And I just thought, well, I'll just keep going, keep working, and check off the next thing, check off the next thing. And before I knew it, I had no break and got really grumpy and started to snip at family members, which was not pretty and not something I'm proud of. So, in fact, my daughter said to me, "Mom, aren't you supposed to follow your own advice?" Which she was right. And so I thought I would talk a little bit more about it. So what did I learn from it? It was just a really good reminder as to how critical breaks are. Number one, they actually reset your most important asset, which is you and your mental health, your well-being. Not something that we always are conscious of, per se. Number two, they replenish and refuel you and keep you on track. Number three, they're actually enjoyable, especially if you're in the present moment when you take that break. And one thing I wanted to share was a study that was pointed out by the Sydney Morning Herald on how scientifically breaks are beneficial for you. And so what they ended up doing is they had two groups, and it was basically a computerized test with a bunch of dots on it. One group worked through, had no break. The other group actually had, I believe it was an hour break. And what was interesting is the group that had no break, their performance was about the same, versus the group that actually had the break, their performance significantly improved. So not only does it boost your productivity and your result, but it's something that's obviously very mentally healthy and good for you. Not always easy to put in practice. So one mindset trap that I definitely fell into that I think it would be good for you to be aware of is that there's this, I would call it more of a mirage or an illusion that if you just do the one thing, and you can check it off. Of course, you get a little bit of a high of just checking it off on your list. It feels really good. It makes you want to do more of it. Very, very addictive. But as soon as you do that, then the next thing comes up. So it's kind of like a game of whack-a-mole. You just bop one, and then the next one comes up. You bop one, and the next one comes up. And that can be very, very frustrating, but it's just this constant illusion that, hey, just get one more thing done. But what I found is that even though in the moment you don't feel like you're getting that much done, over the course of a few days, a week, even a month, when you look back and you kind of take a snapshot of all the different things you accomplish, you actually get more done than you really think that you have. So it's all in perspective, and everyone has the same amount of time. We all have the little things we have to do, the medium and the bigger projects. But the more I think you focus on those bigger things, I think the more accomplished you'll feel. And I did do another video on that regarding your priorities, so definitely take a look at that if that's helpful. So what to do instead? Make sure that your break is something that takes your mind off work and is personal in nature. So things like calling a friend, maybe just checking in, seeing how they're doing, taking a fresh breath of air outside, whether it's just a simple quick walk around your building or your house if you're working from home, to doing some jumping jacks or squats, whatever that looks like. One cool idea I thought was interesting is go find and play your favorite song, but do it in a completely different room and give yourself a mini dance party. You just shake it off, give yourself in a better mood. Grab a snack, but again, do it away from your work area. And if you've heard of this mindfulness meditation, find a quick little tutorial on like how to mindfully eat if you're not familiar with it. I mean, basically you're just being in that present moment with each bite. You're enjoying, you're thinking, all of your attention is focused on you eating that snack. So I think that's a great way to get yourself in that present state, which is really, really helpful and can calm and center you. Another kind of, this is a little bit off the wall. So if you're kind of addicted to being productive, like I am, then here's a good combination to consider doing. So if you are wanting to do something for yourself, like schedule a lunch with a friend, go get a massage or a facial, or even like do a shopping trip for a sale that's going on or whatever that looks like, go ahead and pick up the phone to schedule whatever that looks like and put it on your calendar, and maybe that takes 5 minutes, but then for the rest of that time, maybe the other 10 minutes, close your eyes and really think about enjoying what that event's going to look like and really feel into it. Like, how are you going to enjoy it? How's it going to make you feel? Content, happy, excited about that sale, or, you haven't caught up with that friend, really looking forward to catching up with them. So give yourself a moment to take the action toward it and then think about it. But it's something that you can kind of extend the pleasure of whatever that activity looks like. So you're not only helping yourself anticipate, what you're going to do and how you're going to enjoy it, but you're kind of stretching out enjoyment of it. So I think that's one to kind of play with, and I'd love to hear from you how that worked out. I'm going to be doing that as well. So the other thing to think about too is, what this will actually do for you. So consider this an investment in yourself, in your own well-being and mental health. And the other thing that came to mind was that, the best types of ideas and insights really happen when we do give ourselves these breaks or that space. So you'll probably notice times when you're hitting a wall, you're working on something, a project, and you're just like not getting anywhere, just kind of come to a halt. And when you take a step away, what usually happens? Like what? You're in the shower and all of a sudden a whole bunch of ideas come, or you're out walking the dog or doing something completely different, maybe doing the laundry, and all of a sudden like some new insight comes through. So it really is allowing yourself that space to have those solutions come to you. So I think that's a great incentive for sure. And then a couple of mindset hacks. Now this is the tricky part, because we all know breaks are good for you. There's all this research done, like the study I shared, and it's great, but it's when you're in the moment, it is a challenge to do it. So other than just like the things I just talked about, what are some thoughts that you could try on that are going to help support you with taking a break? And I think that's critically important, because our programming is, built and designed for success. It's like if you don't do all these things and if you're not productive, you're not going to provide value, and all these messages that we're getting that we've been sort of programmed to do are not really serving us. So we find that, hey, once you give yourself the break, you actually are more productive. So that's kind of like a secret hack. And so a couple of those mindset thoughts you can try on are: taking a break refuels me. And what I mean by this is, put it on a sticky note, put it where you can see it, maybe put it in a couple different places, and you got to practice saying this to yourself, because again, we're dealing with all this pre-programming that says, no, you got to do more, you got to accomplish more. So it's going to take some time to reprogram that. And so start saying these kinds of things to yourself, but you're going to have to say it more often. And then another one would be, this gives me energy, or it reduces my stress levels, or better yet, I'm investing in me, my own self-care, and this is ultimately going to benefit my family, my colleagues, those that you actually serve. And consider really what happens, just like in my case, what happens when you don't take a break. So you're less productive, you might be grumpy, you might start snipping at people like I did. Feelings of resentment can bubble up, and this is all stuff that leads to burnout, which is not what we want. So, and is truly preventable if you take the breaks. So highly, highly recommend it. And I think the best thing you can do is, you got to do what's going to work for you. And if you're not convinced that this is going to be beneficial to you, you're just not going to do it. So I think the best thing you can do is start to gather evidence to see what happens when you work through and there are no breaks. Jot it down, and then I've come up with just like 3 different things in terms of a filter that you could use as a gauge as far as before you take a break versus after you take a break, and kind of rate on a scale from 1 to 10 these different areas. So the first one is your stress level. So just starting out before you have a break, just kind of gauge, all right, am I like a 7? Am I an 8 in terms of my stress level? Number 2 would be your clarity and your focus. Again, maybe you're kind of distracted, so it's a 3. And then the third one, how you're feeling. So are you feeling overwhelmed? Are you feeling stressed? Are you feeling calm? Are you feeling peaceful? Are you feeling satisfied and centered? So, and then just again, use that as a tool of a before and an after. And if you think having something like this in place would be useful, I can definitely create something that gives you this quick little, hey, I print it out, have it by my desk, and I can include that as well. If you think it's helpful, let me know. Anyways, these are just some ideas. I'm hoping you find it helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.